Hello everyone. I request all the participant just mute your audio so that after finishing the presentation in the feedback section you can just unmute your audio so that you can ask if you have any doubt. Okay, so let us begin with our today's webinar. Uh, okay. So once again, I welcome you all, and I'm very happy that you all are just giving me a lot of help that I can start my webinar. So this is my first webinar. I'm very happy that I'm welcoming you all for today's webinar. So I'll just share my screen. Okay. So today's webinar is on Basic of GIS. So moving with your next slide. So I am giving the agenda of today's webinar. That is a brief introduction about myself and introduction to the GIS and what are the components used in this GIS and what are the type of job role, reference and the feedback section. Okay. So myself, I am Sneha Syamprasad. I have completed my Master of Technology in Water and Land Management from Vishveshwaraya Technological University, Karnataka, India. So my current position, I am a coach at Target 1 classes. I have my own tutoring classes and I am a specialized Vastu consultant. I prepare a building plan as per the Vastu requirement of the client. So moving with the next slide, that is introduction to GIS. So GIS stands for Geographic Information System, which is used to capture or the collect data using GPS, store the data in any of the computer or laptop hard disk, and after storing the data, you can analyze the data. After analyzing, you can use the model, okay, so that you can build a predictable setup for your execution to reduce the task, okay, and then you can manage the data to manipulate as per your requirements and displaying the data and represent data to your concerned clients. This should be made in a very systematical manner. Okay. So then before starting with the main concept of the GIS, just we can have some knowledge about the experts of the GIS. So I am remembering the two experts, that is Dr. John Snow and Dr. Roger Tomlinson. So Dr. John Snow, who was an English physician who was born in the year 1813 and demised in the year 1858. So he believed that cholera disease was spreading through some bad smell or the bad air due to the decomposed organic matter. But later on, some of the research, he evident that the cholera disease was spreading through the contaminated water, not because of this bad smell or the bad air, with the help of the GIS. So he invented how the important of GIS is. And then coming to the next person, that is Dr. Roger Tomlinson. So he is an English geographer who was born in the year 1933 and demised in the year 2014. He is considered as a father of GIS. Okay, he developed the first Canadian land inventory. And he is very precious, and he is very, what we can say, he is just trying to reduce the task. Like from, we are doing some projects, it is of taking some time of 20 years, but he is like trying to reduce it from several years to several weeks. And he is the primary inventor of the computerized geographic information system. And also from 18 billion Canadian dollars to the 2 million Canadian dollars, reduced to 2 billion Canadian dollars for the land use planning of the Canadian land inventory. And John Snow was also working on special analysis in that 1960s centuries. Okay, so next, moving with the main part of the GIS, that is the component of GIS. So in the component of GIS, we have 6 components. The first is hardware. Okay, hardware, software, data, skilled people, method, procedures, and network. So beginning with hardware. So why this hardware comes in the first component? So to capture or to collect the data or to store the data, the first thing we require is hardware facility. Hardware that it may be a computer desktop, laptop, tablet, palm top, mobile, or any of this network computer desk. Okay, this is must and should to store the data. So next, moving with the software. So in the software, we have 2 parts. That is the one freeware, or also we can say as a open source data. I have just listed some of the data in my slide. And we have also the commercial software. So difference between this freeware, open source, and the commercial software. So this freeware software, we are like we can download the data easily in free of cost, and the source code will be provided. So you can use that source code and you can edit that as per your requirement or as per the user requirement. That is the benefit of this open source. Okay, and in the open source, I have just listed some of few softwares: QGIS software, OpenJump, and Orbis GIS, Saga, etc. And then coming to the commercial software. Commercial software which is used in any of the organization, institute, with the institute which is preferring the license. Okay, if you have the license, then you can use this softwares. If you are working in any of the organization as a fellow member or fellow student or an intern, that time you can just go with this software and you can work on it. So I'll just list out some few which I have mentioned in the slide. That is ArcGIS software, which is very much used in nowadays, and GeoMedia, Map Info Pro, and Global Mapper, etc. So next we have data. So what is this data? So where we can get this data? Okay, so for example, if I am doing a project on the GIS, so I require the features of temperature, precipitation, relative humidity, etc. So you cannot get that data very easily or from your internet. You can get somehow, but if you need any particular sub-basin or basin, if for example, if you take Ghattaprabha region, Mallaprabha region, okay, so that particular sub-basin or the basin, you can get that data from a recognized organization. So we have that recognized organization, that is Indian Meteorological Department. So related to these features, you can collect the data from the Indian Meteorological Department. And if you go with, if you are working on any of the groundwater quality control, okay, so that data is available from the Central Groundwater Board. And no, if you are working, if you are working on population density, or if you are working on the highest population, to calculate the highest population from your particular city, district, state, country, etc. So that you can get it from the census of department. Okay, so from census of department, from the census of department website also you can get the data as per your requirement, city, state, country, etc. And if you want some groundwater control data or this temperature, precipitation data, you can just give the letter to the particular organization. They will give you, and you have to mention a particular what you are doing, which project you are doing, with whom you are doing, with which organization you are doing. Just please mention that in the letter and get the permission so that you will get easily all the data. If for example, if you are working with GCM models, okay, so there you require many datas. And in the other side, you require some satellite data also, whether if you are working any new project by yourself in any of the particular city or area, so you can get the satellite data. And from aerial photography also you will get by you can use the drones, or from the this helicopter, they will be fixing that camera in the bottom side and they will get that. And cadastral maps, and from the GPS also you can get your data of your particular area. Okay, so this is how about the data knowledge. So next, moving with, I have found a new slide which shows you how this geographic system is increasing day by day, how the market size is, why we are giving so much importance to this particular field. So you can just see that in the 2019, the market size was $7.5 billion. Okay, so they have also predicted in the year 2030 that it may be some $25.6 billion. Okay, so they are just forecasting the things that it is very fastest growing system in the market nowadays. Okay, okay, so skilled people, the next component is skilled people. Skilled is nothing but a knowledge. If I have a knowledge of GIS, then I am, or I can say that I am a skilled person. Okay, so that I can enroll in any of the particular field. I have listed many roles here, but this is not same as of what I have listed. This is not same for the next industry to the next industry. Okay, this may vary as per the industrial requirement. So if you want to have this, or if you are expecting some roles in this particular area, okay, you should have a technical knowledge of GIS. First, thoroughly study about the theoretical part of the GIS and list out that how many softwares we have. We have different many softwares, but what are the main software nowadays the industry or the organization or institute are using. Okay, concentrate on that particular softwares, learn that software. You can have many different sources. So you have organization, institute, even in your colleges also they will be conducting labs, and many of them are giving trainings with placements. You can learn from there also. Even now what I am doing is, say I'm providing a webinar, so you can attend the same webinars, like, so that you can have some knowledge about the software. Be perfect with the software so that you can work in any of this particular role. And other than this role, you will be having a net exams. Okay, so if you clear that net exam, then you can get a stipend of 35,000 rupees, and you can work as a junior research fellow in any of the organization where there is a research center of this GIS. Okay, and then after, in the field of junior research fellow, if you completed 2 years, then you can promoted as a senior research fellow. Okay, so other than that, we have these categories, that is GIS technician, GIS analyst, senior GIS analyst, GIS administrator, GIS developer, GIS project manager. Okay, but this may vary to the particular organization. Okay, and also other than GIS, you also should have some of the programming language knowledge also, because I can guess that if you want to become a GIS developer or is in the role of GIS administrator, this programming language is very important. With the help of the programming language only, you can start your career in GIS developer. Okay, you have to start developing a GIS software or any of the what we can say the admins what we are using in the GIS. Okay, so you have to start developing by yourself. You have to find out that what new thing you can do in the GIS software. Okay, so this is how about the skilled people. Next, moving with procedure or the method. Okay, so what is that procedure and method? So first thing, before starting with any of the GIS project, or it may be a other project, first is you have to plan a systematic method from planning to the execution and representing it to the client. If you are working on any of the project, okay, plan that project. Okay, then after, if you are planning, who is working that? So for that working on the software, you require a skilled people, that is GIS expert. Without expert, you cannot work on any of the project, right? So make a team of GIS experts, tell the plan what you are going to do, and even you can have plan from them also. Okay, and if you have plan and GIS experts team, then you require what? Software and hardware. You can go with this, what the hardware we have already discussed, or network based hardwares. You can work the network based hardwares also, or standalone hardwares. Okay, so here you can use many different type of software. It is depend on the organization which they are preferring, and you have to store whatever the data you are working on it. That is what the type of database management system, and all these procedures should be made very systematically. Okay, and so that in a systematic and standard manner you can represent in front of any of your client. So next, coming with The network. Network is nothing but it is not a standalone computer. It is connected or collaborated with many network, with many people, with many organizations. And here in the network, you can share your data or you can get the data by online. It is mainly done on very huge amount of project and very important project and only concerned with the organization here. For example, ISRO, NASA, etc. Okay. So this is how about the component of GIS. Have some added some reference here. So after this webinar, so my upcoming workshop is on the installation to the all part of the GIS, whatever the tool we have in QGIS software. So I'm going to take that workshop. So this is how about my today's webinar. So if you find any doubt or if you want to ask me anything, so you can just unmute your audio and you can ask. Anybody is having any questions? Rahul sir, you can unmute and you can speak.
Hello.
Hello, Rahul sir.
Yeah, my voice is audible?
Yes, it is audible. Sir, you also can speak about.
Yeah, it was like a nice presentation.
Thank
and you rightly said. Sorry?
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Yeah,
Your
so
voice is audible.
what I'm saying, you rightly said, because program. Yeah, your voice, the programming is very necessary component with GIS expertise actually. If you
Yes,
see, during COVID, so many people lost their jobs right in
yes,
GIS sector. Even they have 10 years experience, but they are GIS analysts. Okay,
yes,
so if you want to sustain in the market, or if you want to showcase your potential in GIS, so the programming is very much necessary. If some like beginners, so they should start some programming. Maybe they can take one programming, not all the programming, like maybe some Python, because ArcGIS having connect integration with Python, and you can also learn something JavaScript, because ArcGIS script also having some uh, customization. So every field, I mean, if you work with QGIS, also required some kind of development, because nowadays people are creating some plugins for QGIS, or some open source. Maybe it's a GeoServer or maybe other technologies. So I'll say must. I mean, if somebody is like listening, they should start programming if they want to sustain for a long run. I mean, GIS has a lot of great potential. I must, like, every field has GIS component nowadays. I mean,
yes,
location intelligence. So this is not the only GIS part, but it is beyond GIS thing.
yes,
So this is from my side, because I have seen a lot of, 10 years I've been into this GIS field. So I always like guided more than 150 engineering students and MTech projects. So I can say, this is the important part. Very said, nowadays, like MSc or the people are not so much concerned on the programming, but I think the curriculum should be designed like that way. Like they can obviously, this programming is should be a mandatory subject.
yes, sir.
So this is from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Actually, the thing is, when I have started my just GIS field, sir, so I have project. So in the second year, we used to have a project in the MTech. So I used to work on this
Yeah.
GIS model. So in the GIS model, we are getting this temperature and precipitation data in a huge amount. We cannot extract that data in a single point. So you have to extract all the data at a once.
Right.
So that time, this programming language we have to use. So I am
Right.
being a civil background. I have learned the MATLAB and have executed my project. So that time I come to know that the programming language is very important in the field of GIS.
Yes, obviously, like because GIS having a lot of voluminous data. So if you want to prepare those data, you need some kind of programming to help minimize their
Yes,
efforts or reduce some manual work. Hard like some manual work. So this
yes,
automation required if you are working with GIS or maybe some satellite image processing and all. Nowadays, ArcGIS also having great potential. Like they are doing some big data or machine learning things they have incorporated. So obviously one should know everything, like all the parts, so that we can also say like GS analyst is also a very good some positions. Nowadays I
okay,
have seen it is, I mean, not in good shape. I mean, GIS people like GS analysis, but GIS developer is really I mean they are doing good. So I
yes,
think along with the GIS part, they should learn, I mean, some programming. So it is
yes,
beneficial. Like if
yes,
something else happen next year, maybe some job loss, so they can sustain. I mean, if you know some programming, so you
yes,
can choose some good career path.
yes, sure. Thank you, Rahul sir.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Is there any opinion about the webinar?
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay, I think nobody is having any doubt. So I'll just end up with my webinar. I once again thank all the participants, those who have joined the webinar. I really feel happy that this was my first webinar I'm conducting. I have taken it offline in the colleges where we have a BA degree, bachelor degree, where the students used to take the geography subject. So I used to conduct in the offline with my professor, and I used to take to my students in the engineering college also. So this was my live, the first webinar. So I really thank all the participants, those who have been there for this much time. Okay, thank you. And the next upcoming webinar, I'll just schedule and I will be posting in the LinkedIn and also in my WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you so much.